going to talk about today is self-publishing versus traditional publishing and slash or. So basically self-publishing is where you are the sole proprietor. You own your book. You own everything. You're doing all the work yourself. So you're advertising it yourself. Nowadays though, with Amazon, if your book's really that popular, or if you put in the funds, they'll advertise it for you worldwide because they're just that big. They're the mogul now. We also have traditional publishing, and so traditional publishing is where you're submitting your book to a literary agent, and then that literary agent tries to find, if they really like your story, that literary agent tries to advertise it to other publishers who may be interested in your book, and they take that and you have a publishing job. So I'm also going to put descriptions, like examples of books and that were self-published and examples of books that were traditionally published. I am still trying to figure out how this process goes. I did submit my book to a couple of literary agents and publishing companies before. I never really heard any feedback, but maybe one day, you know? So basically with self-publishing, there's sometimes, if your book's really that popular, sometimes it can be turned into a movie, and I know we're not all trying to get our movie or get our book turned into a movie, but sometimes it happens that way. You can take that book and you can sell it. It's not for the money, most of us go, and that's reasonable, but they really get that popular. For instance, 50 Shades of Grey, if we really want to go there. It did start off as a fan fiction, and it actually was a self-published book, and it grew so popular that it became a traditionally published book. So now we're going to talk about Create Space. Create Space was an amazing self-publishing market. There are other ones out there, but I went with Create Space. I learned from it from another teen author. I met her a couple years ago at a library, and she was talking about her book. I didn't really ask for permission to talk about her book, but I'm going to advertise it because I think that's pretty nice, you know. So basically, her book was amazing, and she told us how you can get your book self-published, and it was Create Space. And not only does Create Space do book publishing, they do CD publishing, audio, they do basically anything. The only thing now is that it is owned by Amazon. So now Amazon has, it's a good thing though, because Amazon has a greater database, and they can advertise your books to more places across the world because they're more well known. And Amazon even has things that you can do to advertise your book. You can put in your money for as low, I've looked it up, I'm getting ready to publish my book again. That will be like for as low as $100. They can advertise your book across the world through Google search and many other things. They also do movies. If you have a indie movie that you wanted to do, they also have that. And it's just basically everything that you can put your mind to, you can do it, you know. So now we're going to talk about my book and republishing my book, as in the pros and the cons, a little bit of using editing. So I first wrote my book when I was 12. It was low-key my obsession with the Hunger Games, and I started writing a book after reading the last book of the trilogy for the 1000th time, and I wanted to write a book in a dystopic place similar almost to the Hunger Games. So when I wrote the book, I kind of stopped, and then a few months down the road, I had written another book a couple years ago before then, and I decided to put that together, and that's my book. It's called The Soldier, and it will be coming out soon this year of 2020. There's been so many editions of the book, the very same book through my years of growing up in life. But I want to talk more so about expectations versus reality, I guess you can say, just a little bit. So my expectations were that as soon as I pressed that publish button book, that it was going to be a very popular book, it was going to be a blockbuster. It didn't work that way. But it did help me learn how to better advertise my book, because I did not realize there were some problems. I did get a little discouraged down the road, and eventually I went back to writing it, and I edited it after I redid it again. Now the reading is more clearly, and we will see that as it is published sometime this year. I'm going to include more examples after this of... my water bottle just fell. This one is windy. I am going to include more examples of traditional and self-published books later after this segment. Comment and subscribe below. Tell me what you think, and are you deciding to do self-publishing versus traditional publishing? Let me know in the comments. So stay safe, be happy, have a good day. We will overcome this. We will soldier on. Hint, hint, that's the title of my second book that we'll talk about later. Bye.